A turtle.
Oh, like a pet turtle?
No, the big ones that live forever.
Oh, a tortoise.
A tortoise, yeah. At the headquarters, Tartle headquarters, we'll have the turtle.
Fun, little fun side note story. So I'm on the Jersey Shore.
Wow.
Don't put me in a bucket.
Not in the show. You're not on the show.
No, I'm literally on the Jersey Shore. Nobody put me in a bucket here. And I'm on the Intercontinental.
Don't put baby in a corner.
Don't put baby in a corner. Good film. I'm on that Intercontinental passageway for boats.
Right.
Where you don't have to go out to the sea, but you can just, follow this thing essentially down to Florida. It's like I-95 for the water. And I'm just bombing in this boat. Not my boat. I don't own a boat. And I'm really cruising.
I'm on a boat.
I have this thing like pinned. It's like 22-footer. It's really screaming. And then I'm like, oh, this is a lot of fun. And then all of a sudden I see this big head pop out of the water. And this freaking thing had to have been like 150 years old. This huge brown tortoise.
Oh, that's so cool.
Oh my God. And I cut this thing left. People are almost flying out of the boat. I cut right. It was more important for me to save the 100-plus-year-old tortoise than worry about all the human lives that were in the boat at that moment. But he's just, he's just in the middle of the path, and he didn't care.
No,
he's just hanging out. And they have those little fins that do
this?
I
think just about everything eats turtles, though, right?
Wait, just about everything eats turtles? Or turtles eat just about everything?
Yeah, but I mean, I know like barracudas would eat them, sharks eat them.
Oh yeah, listen, it's a lot of meat.
Yeah,
you get through the shell.
Yeah, turtle soup, that used to be a thing.
You know what's nice though? Turtle soup. I think it is.
I've never had it.
Ugh.
I don't think I would. I don't think I could eat a turtle.
No. Turtles do a really good job of eating like jellyfish.
Really?
Jellyfish are like way, 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 way too overpopulated in the ocean, and they'll just go and they just swallow those things. Any of the nematocytes, as the things that cause like the stinging on your body, they're not completely unaffected.
Oh, that's wild.
They just inhale these things.
Just keep going.
I just wish there were more turtles to like cut back on like these populations of these massive sea nettles that are like 30 feet long and.
I know, but I mean that one was in when Darwin was alive, just died, I think.
What?
It was still alive. It was alive. The one that he brought back from the Galapagos Islands, and it was in the London. It may either still be alive or it just died. One of the two. We'll have to do a look up.
I hope they.
But they live for hundreds of years.
It's like a macaw.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or a lobster.
Yeah, a lobster can live literally, but there's a lot of creatures that can live forever.
Yeah, if left undisturbed.
So it's like if I was Google and I had trillions like they do, I would be having a whole of these. I would say I want every single animal.
I want the genetic
that lives forever. And all of these, and we're gonna go through and inject me with all of this. I want to be a mutant.
Oh my God!
I want to be Wolverine. Something. Claws come out.
Professor Xavier rolls himself in at the Google Labs.
Yes.
Jason,
there we go. Now
welcome. Time to come to school, Jason.
Now I see my money being used right.
Google, you did something right.
Which we're going to talk about that with data scientists.
Yeah.
Here in a little bit. But for right now, we're going to get a little political.
Well, we're not going to get political. We're going to talk about people getting political.
Oh, I thought we could get.
Yeah. I'd rather not be divisive, right?
No. We build bridges, create unity.
Yeah. So this article's on climate-related deaths.
Local weather-related dying danger down 99.6% over 100 years.
Okay.
And then they said, "What's up with that?" WATTS. Science joke.
Oh yeah. What?
Yeah,
power.
Exactly.
Power. Yeah. Classic Chuck. That's a very intellectual chuckle.
There's another one. We're going to do an archaeological show with data.
I'm psyched on that one.
There's one there. There's a funny one there too. Don't give up the trowel.
Yeah, I love that.
Instead of towel.
Yeah. Yeah, don't throw it in.
Yeah.
Don't throw in the trowel. Okay. Can we focus?
Yes.
So here's this thing. This dude, what's his name? Ori Olsen. I don't know. Is he Norwegian or
Double
something?
stuffed Oreo.
Yeah, double stuffed Oreo. What's this guy's name who made this chart? Anyway, this guy puts together this peer-reviewed study. And this peer-reviewed study, he posts, I don't know why you would do this. He posts the graph on Facebook. You know how many people look at graphs on Facebook and it just lacks total context?
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, oh my God, I mean, climate change, it's not a thing, right? Like, oh, what, because deaths are going down? You have to tell me that just because of the number of deaths says that climate change is not legitimate? So just as the overarching theme of this article, a dude posts a chart on some sort of peer-reviewed paper showing that deaths are going down and then says that people that are trying to do something and advocating for policies to help combat climate change. It's all just some sort of belief system. That's what it is. So here's what's interesting. He's like, I'm posting data and I'm going to put other people and other scientists in a bucket saying they're just a part of a belief system.
Yeah, which to me is interesting because when you look at, they were saying in 1920s, there was 485,000 average every year deaths. And then last year was 18,357.
Okay. But
you also have to look,
percentage-based graph, right?
Yes.
So what do we have to consider?
The population.
Population increase.
Yes.
We had a much smaller population not too long ago. What? For whatever period of time, 100 years ago, what was it, 550 million or something like that?
You also had environmental impacts in the sense of you had urban development. I mean, there was a lot of things going on. When you live in a concrete building, the winds don't get you. The snow, when you're living in a tent outside and it's below 30.
It's different than being in a shanty. Yes. You know what I mean? Or a thatch roof building.
What is the average age of people living back in the 1920s? 30 or 40 years old, maybe
people
50?
Are living longer. So every year that goes by, as the longevity of life increases, plus the population increases, would naturally drive this ridiculous, data skewed graph down to zero. And so this is a very important point that we want to focus on, is that data can easily be manipulated.
Yes.
If someone does not give all of the pertinent information, the raw data that it was before, and then come to some sort of conclusion that's not truly an observational conclusion. You can't just say, oh, this graph has gone to zero, everything is false. It doesn't work like that. It's not correlated in that sort of fashion. We're also better at constructing things. We've built seawalls. We have incredible weather management, disaster recovery systems. There's all that stuff is going on. People are living longer and the population is increasing. Obviously, that percentage-based number is going to naturally drive itself way down to zero.
But it doesn't, and I know Tartle's really concerned about this, it doesn't, we put our money where our mouth is with this, it doesn't negate what is happening with the climate.
No, listen, this does not negate it at all.
Just because there's less deaths, even if this is true or false, it doesn't matter. Just because there's less deaths doesn't mean what's going to be happening in the next 25, 50, 100 years.
Yeah. And you know what that reminds me of? Do you remember 2008, 2009 stock market crash?
Mm-hmm.
People are like, no one will default on all this stuff. Not a chance. Everything was stable. Oh, the risk. It's just
Lehman Brothers. They were huge.
No, let's keep taking these, credit derivatives, and we'll keep repackaging them, and then just say that the risk is just, it continues to drop down because we put them in buckets. And then what happened? One little event, which you assumed wasn't going to happen, in some perceived state of stability, rocked everything.
Well, you get the, I forgot what they call it. Oh, I wish I knew. It was some type of effect, but once something gets unstable, they even wrote a book on it. A guy wrote a book on it. It's an amazing book. It's called Anti-Fragile.
Yeah, his name's Nassim Tarameen.
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right.
He was talking about the black swan effect.
Yes.
And so things will become, you want to make things anti-fragile with how you balance your stock portfolios. But the idea is that you got to look out for these black swans, these events that you never think are going to happen. And you're skewing all this data to yourself that is giving you some sort of false, perspective on reality, that you operate one way and then you just get slammed by something that was unseen. You thought it was never possible until it was possible.
Yeah, because deaths are down, but yet we may not have Florida in 50 years.
Yeah, Florida might not be there in 50 years, and because the death rate is down so much, well, what happens when you have just this massive disaster?
Right.
Oh my God, the chart just hockey sticked.
Because have they ever seen? And this is legit data that they have out there, like with 1 degree temperature raise.
Yeah,
the oceans and stuff like that. What happens? It's crazy. Like California is gone, Florida's gone.
No, it's terrible because if it increases a little bit, and you can just use Greenland for an example, the thermal temperatures right in the sun has an interesting interaction. So the ice begins to melt, and as it gets down deeper, the color goes from that beautiful white, light blue, which has an albedo effect, and which is it reflects so much sunlight in its natural state. But when we start to bring that down, you get the darker colors, stuff that likes to absorb heat. So then it begins to melt faster. And then you got this freshwater melt just pouring into the ocean. So that causes that stuff to rise. And it's also that fresh water starts to go through a desalination process. And so that means the earth can freeze a lot quicker. And then you're just like, wow, things are getting really hot only so it can drive you into another ice age. How many people are going to die in an ice age? Every single one of us.
Every single one.
Yeah. We're not going to last for a 10 million year ice age. I can tell you that.
No, exactly. And it's our planet and it's our responsibility, regardless if you're conservative, liberal, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's your responsibility and each of us is responsibility to take care of our planet.
That's precisely correct. And when you say and put out a graph like this and you skew data and you put it out without any sort of context for people, it almost like eschews the responsibility. You don't even have to worry about it. Look at this graph. Not a big deal. That's not even all the data. That's just like someone coming up with some sort of thing saying, oh, we peer reviewed it. And what you think is just a belief system. Well, that's just not true. Look at all the data. But these are the things you have to be careful of. And what's nice about, TARTLE is that everybody can purchase that data. Not just one scientist gets to analyze it. All of them get to analyze it. So it's not like one person say, oh, I have my own special data set that nobody else has. I'm going to publish a paper to look good real quick. It's like everybody can have a big like bullshit filter on each other.
No, I love that.
No. Yes, that's correct data. That's totally non-political. It's non-dogmatic. You're very agnostic. It's very forward-looking. I like that.
And we'll get into that a little bit more when we get into the data scientists episode.
Yeah.
About how they are looking at data.
Yeah, and listen, it's just as much as a scientific thing as it is an ethical thing.
Yeah, and it's regardless of what country you live in, understand it's humanity's responsibility.
Yep.
With all this great technology comes great responsibility.
Yeah, it's the big double-edged sword.
Yes.
You can do a lot of good with it, or you can do a lot of bad. So why don't we make the right choice?
Yeah, and shout out to Pakistan.
Yeah.
For signing up like crazy on TARTLE.co.
Pakistan, I don't know what you guys are doing, but you're all...
Shout out to us. We'd love to be able to
you're all fired up about it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, thanks, guys.